Am I the jerk for telling my brother the truth on why I don't ask him for anything? I, 19F, have 3 brothers, 27, 28, and 32. My oldest brother, Dave, got married to Sarah in May. I study halfway across the world from my hometown where my family are. I got really sick a few months ago and rushed to the nearest hospital. Turns out they don't accept my insurance and I had to pay out of pocket. I was €50 short and called everyone I could, but no one was picking up. I then called my oldest brother, Dave, because he always picks up, and asked him to send me €50, and I would send it back once I get paid in a few days. He told me not to be ridiculous, and he didn't need me to pay him back €50. Sarah called me that night and asked how I was doing. After the chit-chat, she asked if I could ask someone else the next time I need money because my brother is a married man. I was shocked, but I apologized and said I offered to pay him back. She said it's fine, but next time, I should plan my finances in advance so I won't have to rely on a married man. It's my birthday soon and Dave called to ask what I wanted. I said nothing and that I was fine, but I appreciated him asking. My other brother called to ask what I want and I said I wanted some money to heat my apartment. I couldn't afford to heat it this month. He was baffled that I was so broke I couldn't afford heating and I wasn't saying anything. He started tearing up on the phone call with me and ended the call, and sent me $500 later. I guess he told Dave about the call with me because Dave called me and started interrogating me on why I just told him I didn't need anything, and then asked my youngest brother. He sounded offended and asked why I feel like I can't rely on him. I asked, haven't you spoken to Sarah about this? He was confused on what I meant, and I told him about the conversation I had with Sarah after he sent me the €50 for the hospital. He said he'd call me back, but he hasn't. A cousin of mine sent me a message a few hours ago saying I was a bitch for meddling in their marriage, and that Dave didn't owe me anything. I was like, when did I say Dave owed me anything? I have never relied on him for anything, nor do I plan on it. I mean, I feel bad that Dave and Sarah are fighting and I can't help but feel weirded out that Sarah did that behind his back and he had no clue. I've been extremely anxious and I can't stop shaking. Am I the jerk? Again, I hope this reaches some of you lol. So my middle brother called me yesterday and asked me to explain what's been going on, and I did. He's always had quite the temper and got very angry about the Sarah situation. He mentioned how Dave is paying the rent for Sarah's 22-year-old brother's apartment, so for Sarah to ask me not to ask Dave for anything at all was so messed up when her own brother is getting his rent paid every single month by Dave. TBH, this made me mad. It's okay for Dave to support her brother, but God forbid he sends me €50 for an emergency, right? Anyway, Dave called me and we had a heart-to-heart conversation. I explained to him what I've been going through here and he was silent for a while. I did mention that if I was in urgent need of something, I still had my other 2 brothers to ask, so it really wasn't that terrible. He said he feels so guilty that I was suffering and he didn't know. He said he won't tell me the details about his discussion with his wife, but he was heartbroken that she would even think of telling me not to rely on him, and has asked her to give me an apology, which she said she did, but at the time of the call I hadn't received anything. I said I haven't gotten an apology from her and he told me to check my messages again, still nothing. He was silent for a while and just sighed. I also mentioned the text my cousin sent, which he asked me to forward to him. He said he felt so bad that people so much older than me were treating me like this, and he will deal with so it never happens again. That was this morning. I got a message from Sarah 10 minutes ago. Not sure how that's meant to be an apology, but to summarize, she said, I'm sorry if you took what I said as you can't ever rely on your brother. He's your brother and I would never intentionally try to make you feel like he couldn't do anything for you. I'm also hurt that you couldn't speak to me if you had a problem with it. We could have solved this as sisters. Now WTF am I meant to say to that? I know she'll make time the villain if I don't respond, but honestly, what on earth is that?